Yes, so till yesterday we were discussing about SQC1. So we will go to the next concept. Okay, as we discussed, there are three concepts here. The next concept is your SA 220, quality control for an audit of the financial statements. Now, this is pertaining to audit. See, when you talk about SQC1, okay, I'll just give an example. SQC1 for the firm, and we discussed there were four engagements. We have got auditing. So SA 220 is for audit. Now in audit, we have got one engagement. Like for example, I'll give you two types of engagement. One is listed entity and audit. Another is called your say private company audit. Is EQCR mandatory? Yes. SQC says yes, it is mandatory here. You have to do it. Now for a private company, SQC1 says you have the firm's policies and procedures, whether do you require or not. Now, see, I have got a listed company whose turnover is rupees 100 crore. We have got a private company whose turnover is rupees 5,000 crore. Now, if we look, see, this is a very big private company. In this private company, if we look into it, see, so many public is not interested. Yeah, we agree. But a banker is there, creditors are there, suppliers are there, debtors are there. Okay, so many other small people are interested, and we cannot permit this organization to like close down so easily. So what your firm can decide, yes, we will have SQC for this also, this also. You have to decide it, otherwise it is the lapse. Which one? EQCR. So you may have EQCR for both. This is mandatory as per SQC1, but this is what the firm itself will decide. Okay, now it will take one assurance engagement. It is not an audit engagement. Or it will take one review engagement for the same company having say 10,000 crore turnover. Yes, it can have an EQCR for this also. So when you talk about EQCR of SQC1, it is applicable for all types of services. Now we are restricting ourselves to now audit. Now how a quality control for an audit has to be done? That's what we'll see now. Based on the quality control of the firm, the quality policies to the audit engagements are decided. So from the firm only, the quality control standards for the your audit also will flow. Now, at the firm level, who is responsible? The CEO or managing partner. So who is responsible at the audit level? Engagement partner. Engagement partner becomes responsible for quality control procedures for particular audit in accordance with SA 210-20. Therefore, SA 220 is premised. Understand this sentence. It is premised on the basis that firm is subject to SQC1. What do you mean by this? That means if you don't have SQC1, then there is no point to look into 220. If your 220 has to operate well, SQC should be operating well. So SA 220 cannot fully be effective unless it is properly implemented. Like for example, HR policies. HR policies are governed by SQC1. You need to have competent people, you need to pay a good compensation. If the HR policies are not good, then how do you get a good engagement partner? How do you get a good team? How can you ensure quality at the audit level? So it is impossible. So if SQC1 is missing, your SA 220 will miss. That's why they say that in inter, final they will not ask you, but this is the question they used to ask in the intermediate level. SA 220 is premised on the basis of SQC1. So engagement within the context of the firm's quality control, engagement teams have a responsibility for quality control procedure and provide the firm with the relevant information. Now, since you are going at the work level, the team has to see that whatever they have told at the SQC1, which is an SA 220 is a replica of SQC1, they have to give that feedback to back to the firm. Engagement teams are entitled to rely on the firm's system of quality control unless the information suggests otherwise. Okay, so the first question comes, what is the objective of SA 220? As we discussed, since it is a replica, you see there is the same objective, that the audit, there it is firm and the personal. Firm complies with the professional standards. Here it is the audit complies with the professional standards, regulatory and legal requirements, and auditor's report. There it is firm's report, any report, because there are four types of report you could have issued. Here specifically auditor's report is appropriate in the given circumstance. Okay, this is one small test your understanding question. We will see that. Now, RST is the firm of chartered accountant manufacturing heavy component. Okay, so the listed is the listed company. So you are the auditor of one listed company. Now, audit report also included report on the CARO 2020. Yes, for a CARO 2020 will be applicable. So our auditor is supposed to report. Now, there is one clause 7A, which we will see in the chapter number 7, that auditor has to report on undisputed statutory dues by the company. Yes, the company auditor reported that it is generally regular, but he did not tell the amount. Now, one fundamental question comes, is the above reporting is qualitative and in line with the reporting SA 220? Now, what auditor said in the report? He has to have that, he has to report on the 21 para. So, one of the para talks about the undisputed statutory auditor fees, and he said it is generally regular. Now, is he supposed to quantify it, or is it just a qualitative information he has to supposed to provide? And if it is happened to be a quantitative, is this report, when he told it is generally regular, is it appropriate now? Have you complied with the regulatory requirements? So now, students, this is what I was trying to do, and this is what mind should do. See, there is a lot of unwanted information in this, like whether it is RST or KST, it really doesn't matter to you. Okay, firm, that word itself is sufficient. Listed entity, whether it is what is the name of that company, what business they are into, these are all of none of your business. If you are able to concise this, if your brain is able to figure out what is the issue, fantastic. This is what you need to do. See, the issue is like this. There is one listed company. CARO has to be depositing undisputed fees. Somebody, auditor has to report. But he did it quality wise. What is the answer? No. The answer is it is not qualitative. Why? Because you have to tell the amount also. So one of the objective of SA 220 that audit complies with the legal and regulatory requirement. So when your Companies Act wants you to report the quantitative wise, you cannot report qualitative information. So reporting under CARA 2020 is not proper. That's why you have not met the objective of SA 220. Which objective? There are two objectives. That you have not met the legal and regulatory requirement. I hope it's clear. Yes, so now what is the requirement? We have already seen that any standard, first it starts with the objective. And how do you fill this objective? Okay, there is some requirement. Now, SA 220 is modeled in lines with SQC1. So, it defines the responsibilities of an engagement partner in respect to the following matters. Okay, if you see, what are the responsibilities? Same. Leadership responsibility, ethical requirement, acceptance and continuance of the client relationship, assignment of the engagement teams, nothing but HR there, engagement performance monitoring. Yes, so now certain aspects are important here, friends. Okay, before we proceed to discuss about this, okay, I would like to give that same analogy what we were discussing yesterday. See, the analogy is SQC1 is like father. SA 220 is like daughter who is going to get married. You think from this point of view, the things will be very clear to you what you are going to read. Now, see, as if it is the responsibility of the father and mother, okay, we will add both, okay, to have that, okay, whatever the quality, the samskara, whatever, it is the responsibility of both, okay. They have to plan at a firm level so that next generation, the new generation, they will watch, okay, what their father or mother is doing and they repeat it. They do like that only. Now, I will give you one example, students, one thing. See, my daughter, I will tell about my daughter, my elder daughter. She's very obedient, okay. My second daughter, so you don't ask her because you know. You want to know about my second daughter, go to Instagram and see about videos about the second daughter. Okay, exactly, ditto. Whatever. First daughter, no, she is very obedient. Okay, she listens to me. Okay, whatever we tell, she do. But once in a day, she will scold me. That is early morning 7 o'clock because I have to wake her up. Okay. Every day, whenever I wake up, she scolds me. Now, I will think, what can go wrong? Okay, she's used to staying late in the night. She can stay up to 12 o'clock. But early morning, she don't want to get up. Okay, now I will think, what can go wrong? See, tomorrow she may get married. Okay, her husband tries to wake her up. She will scold the way she is scolding me. She will scold to her husband also. No problem, husband, no problem. But what if her mother-in-law wakes up? Now I can feel now, okay, this is the problem. And you know what mother-in-law will tell first? Did this mother taught you? Actually, both should teach, but generally, all the blame will go to the mother. Whatever. So now, what is that daughter has to do in a workplace? She has to demonstrate leadership. Otherwise, no, this somebody is going to blame the SQC. That means your firm level there is a problem. You are like this, your engagement partner is like this, because at the firm level this must be happening. Obviously, right? This is how somebody will think. So now, what should be that daughter's attitude at the workplace? Or what is that engagement partner's attitude at the workplace? That's what we will have to see. How it's going to happen. Okay, now the SA 220 says, at the workplace, that means, okay, sasural of that daughter, or when she is bahu, the leadership responsibility of the engagement partner has to take the responsibility for overall quality. Now, what she has learned at the SQC level, that she has to demonstrate at the audit level. The actions of the engagement partner and appropriate message to the other members of the engagement team, like what this daughter or daughter-in-law is going to tell to their kids now. So tomorrow kids are born. So what is the message she is going to give? Okay, what is her action is going to emphasize? That is going to define the quality. So it is in taking the responsibility, what that engagement partner should emphasize. See, please mark it very important. They have given in the form of a picture. One, always the importance of audit quality, like the performing the work that complies with the professional standards, regulatory requirements. Now see, my daughter may be eating, say for example, again an analogy, she is eating non-veg. Tomorrow she gets married to one place, okay, where everybody is a veg and non-veg is prohibited from day one. It means in that house only it is prohibited. Now, she eats non-veg. That does not mean that, okay, in their house she is going to cook, right? That becomes one non-compliance. So this is what she has to keep in mind, that when you are going at a client location, you are bound by certain professional standards, you are bound by regulatory requirement, you are bound by certain legal requirement, and that's very unique to them. It is unique to that particular entity. So what an auditor has to, engagement partner has to take responsibility. They have to see, they have to emphasize that whatever work you do, whatever your actions are, they are going to comply with the professional standards, regulatory requirement, legal requirement at work level. Now, you have to comply with the firm's quality control procedures and policies. Like you may be used to getting up at 7 o'clock here, but in their policy, the firm's policy in the sasural may be to early morning, get up at say 5 o'clock, for example. Now, you have to ensure that you have to comply with those policies and procedures, whichever is applicable to you. You issue the auditor's report that are appropriate in the circumstance, like behave very appropriately. Okay, so when you go for a, like again all examples, there is nothing personal, students. Okay, I always look at the reality and try to bring reality. Just okay, there's nothing personal here. I'm not any biased. Okay, I try not to be biased. Like okay, like for example, wearing dress. Like you go to a function, you just don't wear a churidar. You want to wear a sari. Okay, you go for a shopping, you wear a churidar. Okay, that's like issuing appropriate, depending upon the circumstance. Okay, you have an appropriate dressing, no? Like depending upon circumstance, auditor's report also has to be appropriate, like whether qualified, disclaimer, unqualified. So it should be an appropriate. If it's quantitative, it should be quantitative, otherwise it becomes inappropriate report. And engagement team's ability to raise concerns without fear, without any fear of reprisal. Like for example, okay, same, daughter-in-law cooks, salt is less. Can somebody give feedback that salt is not proper or this taste is not good? Let's see, again, one more thing, always again, for particularly for boys, see, they take actually, see, when the salt is not too much or whatever the problem is, just one small advice for boys, okay, from my side, my practice, whatever I follow in my life, I just tell. See, they take a lot of efforts, okay. Cooking is not so easy. Cooking takes time, effort. They have to get a, okay, they have to give some time. Yeah, sometimes food goes wrong. Now, first thing is you have to compliment. That's very important. Whenever it's good, you have to say it's nice. They feel good actually. That I realized. Second, when it is not good, see, we can be blunt and say, okay, it is not good. But it's not good, Baba. And they also know that it's not good. But why we have to tell again? They know. The next time they will correct. It's their mistake. Okay. So keep quiet. Okay. Don't need not praise, but keep quiet. That's why. So what actually should do? Engagement partner should see that the team should raise the concerns without any fear of reprisals. Okay, just again analogy part, just to so that you can remember. And ultimately, you have to emphasize that the fact quality is essential in performing the audit. That means every single behavior, every single act, you bring quality. So this is the responsibility of an auditing engagement partner. I hope it's clear. Yeah, this is bit different because here, when we talk at the SQC level, the leadership talks about the commercial consideration. See, auditor is not concerned with the commercial considerations. Sorry, engagement partner is not concerned with commercial consideration because he has been assigned a task. Followed, no? Like what is the marriage cost? It is the parents' concern, not the like daughter's concern. Now, how the family, how she has to behave, that is her concern. Similarly, if you see here at the SQC level, the leadership responsibility talks about the business strategies. Right? It's the business strategy. Should I expand or not? From the engagement perspective, engagement partner need not talk about the business strategies or expansion and all. He has to focus on the work there, whatever is assigned to them. It's clear. And they have to think about the HR, the appointment of the right team and all. Here, you have to see what team has been assigned to you, what you have got. You raise them properly, you train them properly. That's your concern. You cannot go and hire someone because that is not within your scope. Firm can hire HR. You cannot hire. You have to use what you have been given. So this is how your leadership responsibility at the firm level and engagement level is different. Yeah, please mark this important because no questions have come because they can specifically ask you what is the leadership responsibility of an engagement partner as per SA 220. So you make someone who can get confused because it's the same leadership activity and you see the way they have written, no? Bit confusing only here. And I think they have given in the form of a picture. This is what ICA will do. Very, I don't know what to say. See, they will make you more difficult to read. So, second, relevant ethical requirement. I want to show you again who is ICA. Please see now. Now, ethical requirements means we know at SQC level we discussed fundamental principles, 5 principles, integrity, objectivity, confidentiality and all, and plus independence. Now, here they are not speaking about fundamental principles because an auditor has to have, but they speak about the independence here. You see the language here. The responsibility of an engagement partner in relation to the ethical requirement is as under. First, you need to identify threat to the independence because you have gone there. You have gone at a workplace. You know what is happening. So first, your job is to identify the threat to independence regarding the audit that safeguards may not be able to eliminate or reduce to an acceptable low level. Then reporting by the engagement partner to the relevant persons in the firm, like whom the engagement partner has to report, the managing partner. You have to tell for appropriate action, which may include eliminating the activities that create threat, withdrawing from the engagement where withdrawal is permitted. Okay, Baba, please see. This is one para which has been given in your study material, and they say that this is the responsibility of an engagement partner with related to independence. Fine. Let us go to test your knowledge question 5. And then there is one MTP of March 25. See, for me, this is one time bomb. Any attempt they can ask you. Why? Let us go and see now what they have told in test your knowledge 5. During the audit of one listed company, there is one engagement partner who completed his review. Is he supposed to complete the review? Yes. And also ensured compliance with the independent requirement that apply to the audit engagement. Okay, that means ethical part, the second one. That means whatever they were supposed to do, yes, they have done. This, done. 4 points are done. Now, the engagement files were also reviewed by the quality control reviewer. Is it supposed to be done? Yes, because it is a listed entity and it is an audit of listed entity. accept independence assessment documentation. Now, first question comes, is the EQCR has got any responsibility to evaluate independence? The answer is yes. Yes, yes, SQC level only we have seen, and going forward also we are going to see that whether the engagement partner has done that independent assessment of SA 220, this is the EQCR has to verify. Now, the engagement partner is of the view that the matters related to the independent assessment are the responsibility of the engagement partner. Is he correct in his view? Absolutely yes. It is whose responsibility to do the independent assessment, independence assessment? It is the engagement partner's responsibility, and he also knows it. And not the engagement quality reviewer. He is also perfect. But what is that? See, please understand. Assessment and review both are two different words, two different activities. Who has to do the assessment? When we talk about independence, please understand, who has to do the assessment? Engagement partner. Who has to do the review that whether assessment has been done or not? EQCR. Now, what engagement partner is telling? Look, assessment is my responsibility and it is not your responsibility. Now, engagement quality control reviewer objected. He refused to sign off. What he objected? See, he said, no. I have to see that. See, both are correct, Baba, but there is a communication gap. Now, what the engagement partner, I hope students you are able to understand this question. A very nice question, fantastic question. Engagement partner is telling that assessment is my responsibility, not your responsibility. EQCR is agreeing, but he says, show me your documentation. For which engagement partner is rejecting. Why you want documentation? It is my responsibility. No, I have done it. EQCR is trying to tell Baba, assessment is your responsibility. Okay, I can give an analogy to you so that you can understand it better. Now, writing one test is whose responsibility? Test papers. Okay, we have to write chapter number 1 test. Writing test is whose responsibility? You say engagement partner. Who is engagement partner? You. You say it is your responsibility, right? Are you agreeing? You say yes. Show me your test papers. I want to review it. This is me. You say no, sir. Writing test is my responsibility. No, it is not your responsibility. Baba, I am agreeing. I know. Yes, I am okay with that. Writing test is your responsibility. Arey Baba, give me the papers. I will review it. You say why you want it. It is my responsibility to write the test, right? This is the issue happening right now here between the engagement partner and the quality control reviewer. Then what the engagement quality control reviewer said? I will not give sign off. Let me see without my sign how you issue audit report. Now this is called a difference of opinion. Now they said advice as per SA 220. Okay, now you see the catch friend. Will you write the difference of opinion part or will you write about the independence assessment here in the examination? You can write from the both the point of view. You can talk from the difference of, see, you include both. See, since there is a confusion, if you talk about here, when somebody will come for an advice, like husband and wife come for an advice. Why? Because there is some dispute, there is some misunderstanding. Now, if you look into the crux of the issue is the question about the independence review. Okay, and responsibility related to the independence. So how do you are going to write? First, you have to write what is the responsibility of the engagement partner as per SA 220 related to the independence. What is his responsibility? Obtain information, evaluate the information and identify the threat, evaluate the information on identified breach, take appropriate action, promptly report. Now go back to the study material. See, is this language there here? In the study material, they said responsibility, same thing told. What you have understood here versus what you are seeing here is words are different. The way they have written is different, but the crux is same. I hope you are getting my point, students. This is what I say will do. You know where this information has come from? Okay, let me just show you. let me just show you one more thing. See, this is a bare standard. I hope you are able to see now. This is a bare standard, okay? A bare standard will look like this. See, this is essay 220. Once upon a time, these books were given to the students. They were supposed to read from this standard, and the questions used to come left and right from this standard. See, this is called a para numbers. I told you, no, any standard will start with the introduction, then they will tell the scope, then they have got an objective, okay, and then you have got some definitions, and then you have got requirements. Requirement is nothing but your mandatory thing, shall. Now you have got the para, and I told you this is the same para across the world. Everybody is reading same para, same words, everything is same. Para number A3, everything is same. Okay, now if I take you to this ethical independence in ethical requirement, okay, you see here, this is the independence requirement coming from para number 11. What is supposed to do? Obtain information, evaluate information, take appropriate action, promptly report. This they have given in your test your knowledge. If you go to the study material, they have given you something different. Okay, anyhow, I will tell you one more thing. Now, then I will conclude you and I will give you my observation. What ICA is doing, why they are doing, I will give that observation. Okay, first part, you have to write about the responsibility of the engagement partner with related to independence. Then, what is the responsibility of the EQCR related to the independence? First thing, yes, for listed entity, EQCR is mandatory and they have to evaluate, engagements team evaluate. So, he has to just review, quality control reviewer has to review whether the team has done that evaluation or not. So, in the given case, engagement partner is not right. The documentation should be given to EQCR or is review, not for assessment. I hope you are clear. Done. Very nice question. So, you have given your advice that please give the file to them. Matter is closed. With this, if you want, you can write about the difference of opinion also, and you said this has to be documented and it should be addressed. Finish. Now, let me go to the question number 22, which is your March 25. There is a listed company appointed Amit as the statutory auditor. CA Sunil, who has recently joined, is appointed as an engagement partner. Can he be done for the first time? Can he be done? Yes. But can he be an EQCR? No, because he doesn't have the relevant experience. While preparing the audit, he realizes the importance of ensuring team's independence as per standards on auditing practices. Which standard they didn't tell here. They say some standard is talking about the independence. That means this standard, this question, if it comes for the examination, you see the word relevant standards on auditing. Yes, because you are going to get the marks for quoting that standard name. Anyhow, we will see here. However, when reviewing the firm's framework, he is unable to find any documented policies addressing independence. That means at the firm level, there is no independence document. This is SQC1 failure. Because SQC1 also should have the independence related things that we have seen in the previous session. What steps should CA Sunil take to ensure compliance with the independence requirement for the audit engagement? What is his responsibility? Chalo. First of all, at the SQC level, there should have been independence thing. Not there. What he should do? He should do the same thing. This is what he should do. Obtain information, evaluate information, take appropriate action and report promptly. Now, second question. Why it is necessary for a firm to have well documented procedures of independence? Now we have to talk about SQC1. Discuss with reference to the relevant standards on auditing. See, now there are two issues, students. One, SQC1 level they are talking, and SA 220 level responsibility they are talking. And they said give relevant standards on auditing. So you are expected here to quote both SQC1 with its name, SA 220 with its name, whether 1 mark will be given for this or this is the suspense, or none here, but in another question they will give, that is also a suspense. So what is that first thing you can do? Study every standard with its name. Very easy job. Okay, when I was at the intermediate level, not final, students, talking about my intermediate performance, 470 sections I memorized, left and right. Every day 10 sections per day. While walking, okay, while brushing the teeth, just memorizing 10 sections per day. 470 section. You wake me from the sleep, suddenly ask, what is section 253? Without thought, I used to tell. I feel proud to tell this. That's how I practiced. It's that my time. Okay, this is how you should practice. Everything. No, means anytime anybody asks you, because these questions will be asked in the interview also, not tomorrow. You should not get confused there on independence. No, that clarity of thought you should bring on the table there. Okay, so now, okay, and this question is also very similar to the same thing. You can read it. So first you talk about the SQC one. The firm should establish the policies to get the reasonable assurance about the independence. And what is their requirement? Communicate the independence requirement to the personnel. They should have had a policy and communicated to the personnel. Identify and evaluate the relationship and circumstances that create and put appropriate safeguard. This is the firm responsibility. You first tell what is the responsibility of the firm. Second, you tell what is the responsibility of the engagement partner with related to the independence. Now I want to tell you, students, see the language. Obtain relevant information, evaluate information, take appropriate action, and report. Promptly report. And see this language with this language. This is easy. This is directly given from the standards on auditing. You see now, you see the language here. This language is coming from SA. This, see here, this language. This MTP, they have copy pasted this. They have given in a very simplified language in your test your knowledge. And totally different thing they have given in your study material. Now what happened? No, because of this inconsistency, somebody will run away. They will not be able to understand, or they say it's irritating. Now ICI is going to ask questions from here. Now what you should write? You write anything, Baba. ICI will give you marker. I told you, you have to trust only two. Since you have come to me, trust your brain. That's it. ICI will give you marks whether you write this, whether you write this, whether you write this. Now what I prefer, because for me this language is a bit confusing. It feels like I am writing it with my language. If I would have been asked to write, see, I cannot memorize all the three. I understood what is the crux here. What is crux here? You have to obtain information to identify the threat, evaluate the breach, take appropriate action, promptly report. But how do you express it to an evaluator? You write in your language. This is the reason I told you, students, you have to just read. Please understand. You have to have that articulation. That's why we are doing homework every day. You see, after some time, no, how you will be able to write. Let us write the test also. You see how powerful you are going to become. Okay. I hope you are clear here with this particular example. So that's why we will not too much be dependent on the Q&A. We have to be dependent too much on the concept, understanding the keyword. And this is what you need to memorize, which is very easy, I believe. Okay, done. Then we will go to the acceptance and the continuance of the client relationship and audit engagement. The students, what happened? Whether client acceptance or not, that is none of the business of engagement partner. Now, who decides whether the proposal is okay or not? The parents will decide. I'm talking about once upon a time. Okay, so time has changed. Now, after proposal is finalized, now there is one engagement. After engagement, boy and girl are permitted to go out. Now, see, a lot of instances happen, students. In my family only, 2 instances have happened. That after engagement, no, that proposal broke down. It means it didn't go up to the marriage. Now, what happened at the time of proposal, with the somebody's reference and whatever it is, the proposal, marriage proposal was accepted. But when the boy and girl started to talk to each other, they started to meet, they understood certain things that there is some problem, and they decide to discontinue. That's continuance. Now, how this is going to happen? I told you earlier only. Parents are SQC. This daughter is the engagement partner. Now, there is a responsibility on this engagement partner also. Please understand. Should I continue this relationship or this engagement? Now let us understand the responsibility of that engagement partner now. The responsibility of the engagement partner in related to the audit again it is in lines of SQC1 only, that the firm should obtain information before accepting the engagement with the new client. Okay, what engagement partner can do? Now that is the firm's responsibility. They will try to gather that information. We have already seen that business reputation, their complexity of operation and all. When deciding to continue an existing, now if you figure out some vital information, this information has to be given back to the parents now. That engagement partner has to report back to the managing partner, sir, like I went to this audit firm, the client, but these problems are there. Their books are not proper. It seems like money laundering is happening there. You have to give this information back so that you can discontinue. When considering acceptance engagement of a new client, okay, leave this. This is simply a sentence. Now, what information you need to gather? What that engagement partner has to gather at a workplace? Integrity of the principal owners, competence of the engagement team, capabilities including time resources, compliance with the relevant ethical requirements, and significant matters during the current and previous audit engagement. Like for example, when you go there, you realize that this person had already had an engagement in the past and that engagement has been broken. See, probably they may not give full information, but when you talk to each other, you may get a lot of perspectives. You may directly ask like, what happened to the previous engagement? Why it broke down? So now when an engagement partner is at the work location, he has to consider the significant matters during the current or the previous audit engagement and their previous implication, like what happened last year, what happened in our last visit, okay, what type of issues happened, what implications came. So these four information they have to gather. Why? Because it will help you to conclude whether should I accept, and if you have already accepted, whether should you continue. I hope it's also clear. There's no doubt, and there's no examination question, so leave it. We'll move on. We'll focus on this is important for us, and this is important. Here there is no RTP MTP question. Suddenly it may get landed up. Now the third requirement, assignment of the engagement team. The auditors, it should be ensured by the engagement partner that appropriate team is having, and you have assigned it depending upon the professional standards. Auditors, experts are proper, fine. Now coming back to the engagement performance, okay, we had seen engagement performance starts with the consistency of work, and we have seen in the SQC1 consistency of the work starts with the objective. What is objective? Direction, supervision and training, review, documentation. These are the four elements. They had given you with pictures there. Now, how engagement performance should happen at audit level? The engagement partner has the responsibility for direction, supervision, performance. Same like this. He is also responsible for the report being appropriate and review of the audit documentation before the audit report issue. That means, same this particular point. That means you have to direct, you have to supervise, you have to train, and before you issue the audit report, you have to review somebody's work. You cannot blindly take that work and issue the audit report. It has to be ensured that sufficient appropriate evidence has been obtained, and also you are responsible to take matters for consultation. Okay, let us see one RTP May 25 question, which is also a priority one question. You see, which talks about one single point about review. And imagine you are sitting in the examination hall and from nowhere you come across this question. You see how it feels. In fact, this question they have given you in your test your knowledge also. MTP also it has come. Now, OP is the statutory auditors of BB. BB is the listed company. Okay, 1 minute now. I think if I okay. Anyhow, we will see this. I think it's an EQCR related question. Okay, it's an EQCR related question. We can see that. We'll no issues. Anyhow, SQC1 we know. Started its operations 5 years back. Field work of the audit for the year ended 31st March is completed on 1st of May 2018. Very good. 1st May you completed. Auditor's report was issued on 12th May. So entire that 12 days entire review and all other stuff happened. You are doing finalization. You can call it as a finalization. During the documentation review of the engagement later, because as per SQC1, are you not supposed to do one ongoing monitoring? So what happened now? Someday one audit file was taken, and when somebody was reviewing the documentation, it was observed that the EQCR, is it mandatory? Yes, because it is a listed entity, was done on 15th May. Oh, this is a lapse now. Because you are not supposed to complete your audit report unless the EQCR report has been given. Engagement partner has done on 10th of May only. So this is a very clear cut lapse now. They asked comment. So what is the comment? I told you, whenever you see the word comment, you have to tell whether engagement partner is correct or no, he is not correct. Now how do you know this is from which chapter? Yes, from this only EQCR and all, we'll know that they are talking about the audit also. So it is from SA 220. So you start with the SA 220. So audit of the listed entity, engagement partner shall check what is the responsibility of an engagement partner towards EQCR. So you have to write that engagement partner's responsibility for EQCR. So you have to see that you have appointed EQCR, you have discussed the significant matter, and a review has been completed before the auditor's report. So it becomes your responsibility that you have to see that EQCR has been appointed. Later, SA 700 also see that you have to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence. So unless that, you cannot move. And quality control review is also considered as an audit evidence because somebody is reviewing your job. Now, concluding ECR is a very important thing. So signing of the audit is not in order or engagement partner is not correct. You have to tell something like this. You will fetch 1 mark for here. To tell the responsibility, you will get 1 mark. Maybe to tell, or maybe 3 marks you may score here. This is how the mark allocation is going to happen. I hope it's clear. Okay, now you see this RTP May 25 question, which came in your recent April 26 RTP, MTP also. I told no, it is a time bomb. Any exam it can come. Rajkumar has been and co was appointed as an auditor. Now CA Kumar is one of the partner of Rajkumar. Sorry, Rishi Kumar. There must be 2 partners, I believe. Now, he completed the entire work on 29th of May. So, unfortunately, the very next morning, while roving towards the office of PK Limited, because he has to just go and sign the report now. Every work is perfect, done. He met with the road accident and he died. Very sad. Now, another partner, CA Rishi, there can be more partners also because otherwise this partnership gets dissolved now immediately on the death of the partner. So let us assume that there can be more partners. Now Rishi Kumar, he went to and signed the accounts without reviewing the work by the CA. Now first question comes, can another partner sign? The answer is yes. But is this work advice or state with reason whether he is right in expressing the opinion whether work performed by another auditor? Please see student, this is how they try to provoke you or take your mind somewhere else. Like when they talk about the another auditor, this word is much relevant in SA 600. Who is this another auditor? The branch auditor, the subsidiary auditor. They are called another auditor. But here, your Kumar is not another auditor. He is not even joint auditor. He is your engagement team. He is your partner of the firm. So first of all, can you express opinion based on the work done by a partner? Answer is absolutely yes. But ultimately, who takes the responsibility? The engagement partner. Now, on his death, who became engagement partner? Rishi. Now, what SA 220 says? Look, the moment you become an engagement partner, you have got some set of responsibilities. The responsibility of engagement performance includes giving directions, supervision. Is this work done? Yes, it is already done by the previous partner. But being alive, don't you have the responsibility to review at least? How you can blindly sign on somebody's work? So tomorrow you cannot blame that I relied on that person's work. No excuse. See, when we talk about SA 600, no, we have got a responsibility. We can shift this responsibility to some extent. But here, though, you cannot shift only. So first thing, SA 220, quality control engagement partner, you have to have a review procedure that work performed as per the standard. Significant matters have raised to the consideration. And if you see study material student, have they told you these points? Go back to the test your knowledge and see. Okay, in RTP, they have told you these points. But have they told here anything? They just added one word that auditor has to review. What they need to review? Have they told? No. Then this content are given in the test RTP only. And whatever they give you in RTP and MTP, that is also part of your scope. You have to understand it. So auditor has to see whether appropriate consultation has happened, nature, timing, extent of the work is done, evidence is sufficient and appropriate. Okay, these are all the aspects the auditor has to review. Engagement partner has to review. Okay, they have to check whether documentation has been done, sufficient appropriate evidence is done, and as per code of ethics, the partner who is going to sign will be responsible for expressing the opinion. He is entitled to rely on the work performed by others, but he has to exercise skill and care. So tomorrow, if there is any material misstatement, the signing partner, that is Rishi, cannot escape from professional misconduct telling that Kumar did this work, I just signed it. No, you should have exercised the reasonable skill and care. That means what you should have done, you should have taken some more time because the death has happened. Then go back and perform these 7 activities which was told by SA. However, okay, auditor should carefully direct, supervise, whatever. In the given case, Rishi is allowed to sign the report, no doubt. He can sign, but he is responsible for expressing opinion. So he is supposed to exercise adequate skill and he is supposed to perform. Fantastic answer, full marks. Write in your own language. Need not write all the 7. You can write any 4 points which you feel relevant, which you remember at that point of time. But when you present an answer like this, tell me who is going to stop you? Please appreciate with ICA one thing. I always tell, I don't know whether I told you or not. No reservation, no nepotism, no influence, no politics. What you have? Only performance. Beautiful, right? Where you find such institute? You go to, you talk engineering, you talk medical. See every system. IAS, see our institute. Please recognize, Baba. Please see the reality. See, and one more thing for your information, I don't know whether you are aware about it or not. See, I also believe, I think, I don't know, I also must have been blessed by the institute. The institute has got one practice. If you see anybody's mark sheet, if you see there is one sign like this along with the total marks. So if my total marks is, say for example, 400 and sorry, today it is in 300, no, 6 subjects. If my marks is 305, and if you see this sign in front of anybody's mark sheet, you need to understand one thing, students, that this person was promoted as CA. If you see this signature, this particular thing, this sign, please start observing. One thing you see that in the set off, if you are writing both the groups, in one of the groups, if you don't score the aggregate, and if you are getting that aggregate from the other group, then also you see this sign. It's the same signature, same sign. Okay. Now, what does this sign means? It goes like this. See, you have cleared all the subjects and you have crossed that aggregate. Like almost every subject you have scored 50. But in one subject, you have scored say 38 or 35 onward, not 34. I believe it is 5 marks, grace marks. Huh? So if you have scored 38, 34, 39, whatever, in one subject and not 2 subjects. And in all other 5 subjects, you have on an average, you have scored 50. You know what institute will do? This is particular, not general, in general. This is for you. You see how considerate our mother is. It's only for you. Only for you. Institute will add 2 marks, makes it 40 and say, go. Because you are chartered accountant. You see, you look at your performance. Just because 2 marks, how can I say that you are not chartered accountant? So, there is a regulation. Please understand. It is not somebody's wish there. I told you, it's a system. I say it's a system. There is one of the regulation 190 or whatever, I don't know. Some regulation is there. And as per that regulation, this is how it is going to operate. That means if you have lost one subject by, say, with a gap of 5 marks, 2 marks, 3 marks, institute has got a regulation to push, give that grace marks to the student, make it 40 and push as a C. See, institute only says mark is just a number there. Ultimately, you have to demonstrate. It is in your hand. Okay, no, just to tell you, bring certain things to your knowledge, how thing institute is operating. At the same time, see, institute does this type of things also. One answer here, RTP here, different type of thing. Yeah. My point is very simple, students. Which profession you have chosen? You have chosen the profession of a chartered accountant. What chartered accountant deals with? Cash. What is cash? Highly volatile. There are a lot of predators looking at this cash, correct? And people trust your signature. So many people could have done so many things to this cash. Tomorrow, somebody trusts you and sends there. Go and please check whether my cash is intact or not. Do you think all these people are such a honest? The what is that called? Survey says there's something called a 80-10-10 rule. If you are because in the very next chapter we are going to talk about all these things. 80% of the people are situational criminals. Means if you bring right amount of situation like me, you and all, like general, because we are all fall in that category. 10% of the people, legends, you kill them, you hang them, but they will not do. But the 10% of the people are meant to do something, and they are called calculated criminals. Please understand the terminology. We are going to talk in next chapter. Now, out of this, there can be one person who is the calculated criminal. No, he must have misstated, right? He will show to that some document is proper. Now, as an auditor, are you able to identify this inconsistency? See, your observational skill should be very good. Your ability to dig deeper should be very good. You should be yeshu sutteshu jagrata. That means you should be always alert. How can you sleep? How can you not look at it? And if you can't demonstrate these skills in the examination, if you can't demonstrate these skills in the attitude in the examination, maybe our institute is asking one question: how do you bring this skill at the workplace? No, this is my interpretation. That's what I am thinking. Why institute is doing all these type of things? Like one question here, one answer here, one contradictory answer. No, this is my interpretation. Why institute must be doing like that? They want to figure out, look, do you have that observation? Do you identify this inconsistency or do you run away from it? And then they will ask this question in the exam to test, okay, what you are, who are. Maybe you can take a perspective. You can think, he believes, this is what I believe. You can start believing based on your thinking. Okay, now next question comes engagement quality control review. See, this is very important, students. We have seen in essay 220, leadership is important, then ethical requirement is important, and then these are all not important. Okay, this is important, review engagement performance, because this is not there in the study material. This is important, engagement quality control review, because we didn't speak much in the previous also. For the audit of the listed entities, the engagement partner, what is the responsibility of an engagement partner towards EQCR? Yes, whether the EQCR is appointed, discuss the matter, not to date the report before completion. And this is the same thing we have seen there also. Yes, we have seen one test your knowledge 10 question. Okay, I think we are done. Test your knowledge 10. Yeah. Where is your test your knowledge 10? This one. Okay, we discussed now just now. Here we see that responsibilities. Here they have quoted that this is the responsibility of the engagement partner. Now, what EQCR should do? Okay, when you talk about an EQCR, there are two things. What is the responsibility of engagement partner? This is the four responsibility of engagement partner. What is the responsibility of EQCR? What he is supposed to do? He is supposed to perform an objective evaluation of significant judgments made by the engagement team and the conclusions reached. The evaluation should include discussion of the significant matters, review of the financial statements, review of selected audit documentation, and evaluation of the conclusions reached in that audit report is appropriate. So this is his task. Now, what he's supposed to do, he has to discuss all the significant matters. Okay, I'll give an analogy also, students, as we proceed further. Like impairment, it's a very significant matter. Revenue recognition, very significant matter. Like how did you do the revenue recognition in the EPC contracts? How did you follow this? Okay, going concern is a very important matter. If you have identified any indicators of going concern, then how did you resolve it? That's a significant matter. So all these significant matters has to be discussed by the EQCR. Then he has to take that draft financial statement and draft auditor's report, and he has to go through it, the components. Review the selected audit documentation. That means check the documentation related to the significant judgments and conclusions you have reached. Okay, you see how they have done the documentation, some of the important judgments. And last, evaluate the conclusions reached and whether the report is appropriate. Okay, since you have gone through everything, now is the report appropriate? If the engagement partner decided that I will give qualified opinion, okay, is qualified opinion is proper? Or should he be given adverse opinion, or should he have given disclaimer of opinion, or should it be a clean opinion? Because there are 4 types of opinion. Has he given proper opinion, or has he given attachment of CARO also, or did he miss it? Was he supposed to give any additional report to RBI, or has he missed it? So these are all called reporting. Okay, this is your primary responsibility of the engagement quality control reviewer. Now, in case of listed entity, you have got some additional requirement. This you have to do for everyone. Every audit you have to do, whether it's a private company or listed company. But for a listed company, you have got plus additional work. That is engagement team's evaluation of firm's independence. See, this is the point we had seen in one of the examination question. If it was not listed entity, yes, engagement partner could have argued with you. If it was not an listed entity, engagement partner will say, now why you are evaluating independence? That we have seen. But for a listed entity, it becomes mandatory for an engagement quality control reviewer to check the firm's engagement team's evaluation of the independence. So the engagement partner has to give the record whether appropriate consultation has taken place on the matter involving difficult and controversial matters. And third, whether audit documentation selected from the review reflect the work performed in respect of significant judgments. Okay, students, you see here, what is the difference between these 2 points? Review the selected audit documentation related to the significant judgments and check the conclusions reached. Now, check whether audit documentation selected for review reflect the work performed related to the significant judgments made. That means, okay, I'll give an analogy to you. You understand that? See, first of all, we will talk about the pie catering. And I gave this example previously also. There are 2 types of functions. One is one private function. Okay, for say 100 people, you have to have some food. Or 1000 people. This is a very important private function. Another is a public function, okay, in a temple or somewhere. So many people, if the function is called, it is Ambani, because Ambani marriage, see, our marriage and all in the newspaper, it won't come. We only have to pay and put some advertisement. So and so marriage happened. Ambani and all free advertisement. Okay, newspaper only will put all what happened, what menu was there, everything. So I can say Ambani's wedding is more like a public function. Now, EQCR has to be appointed both. Why you have appointed EQCR? Because it's a very big. If it was small, you may not have done EQCR. Why you have appointed EQCR? Because it is mandatory. It is a public. I hope you're clear. Now, what is that EQCR reviewer has to do? See, if it's a private, since so many public are not involved, since it's not a private, it's a private company, he can pick certain thing. Like for example, going concern. Is a significant judgment? Yes. Then he can simply verify the documentation and ask questions. Okay, have you countered the cash flow? Have you taken opinion of the, okay, have you countered the cash flow? Okay, how you verified the cash flow statement? How you verified the assumption? So I will ask you some basic questions and I will make one review. Like caterer will ask you one basic questions like, okay, Is the why you decided to order 100 kg of rice? Is it sufficient for 1000 people? Okay, why you have selected to choose this particular cook? Will he be able to cook that particular dish? Like these are all high judgments, significant judgments. Now EQCR is going to review at a high level. But when the Ambani's wedding is going to happen, say same going concern issue comes, first of all these things has to be discussed. Okay, for 1000 people, why you decided 100 kg rice? Why you selected this cook? This is by default, it's applicable. But since it is special, see, it's the same. This EQCR may go one step ahead. He can see from which shop you are buying 100 kg rice. Because tomorrow, if any food poisoning is going to happen, see, you need to have a documentation, everything to prove that, look, Baba, you are not at fault. Fault is somewhere else only. You have done your job properly. So when you talk about a going concern issue for a listed entity, see, first thing, all these three things will come, where your assumptions are proper, or did you counter the cash flow? Second, have you documented management representation? Second, have you documented legal opinion given by the council? Okay, have you documented the workings with the assumptions? See, this is what you go one step ahead and study. This is what they are trying to tell, that in case of everything, you have to review the selected documentation and check the significant judgments and whether the conclusions are proper. But here, you check whether the documentation what they have done reflect the work has been performed to the proper extent. Okay, so this is what you need to understand. So this is the responsibility. And if the difference of opinion is there, okay, they have not asked any, okay, they have already asked this question also. We have seen the dispute related question. Difference of opinion, you have to address the firms and policies and procedure. If there is any difference of opinion, what engagement partner has to do? He has to see what is the firm's policies and procedure. Like for example, there is a difference of opinion between husband and wife. I told wife is the engagement partner. What she is supposed to do? Okay, she has to see in this house how that difference of opinion is addressed. Okay, should I take to mother-in-law or should I take to father-in-law? That firm's policies and procedure you need to address. Why? Because otherwise you will be into problem. If you are not following the firm's policy and procedure, then you escalate, then you take certain actions. If it is not getting addressed here, then you take for external help. Okay, qualified people, all those things are anyhow it is there. Okay, the next one is your monitoring. The effective system of quality control includes your monitoring, whether it is relevant, adequate, operating effectively. Same points. The engagement partner shall consider the results of monitoring process, whether deficiencies are noted, take actions. And the last one is your documentation. Note this also. So what is important? Leadership is important, ethical requirement is important, EQCR is important, review is important, documentation is important. Only 5 things are important here. See, remove unnecessary noise from your brain. Just to focus on these 5 at the end. You have to write and practice. One day before examination, you need to have this. If it's already come for the exam, remove this, whichever has come. Now, what is that documentation engagement partner should do? Okay, he has to document following matters. 1, whatever issues you have identified with respect to the relevant ethical requirement, compliance with the requirement, you have to document. Conclusions with respect to the independence requirements, have you complied with it? That you need to document. Conclusions with related to acceptance and continuance, that you need to document. Nature, scope and conclusions of the audit, consultations taken. That means what you need to document, go back to your 6 points. First point, it is your personal attribute. So you cannot document. You cannot say, I am honest. You cannot write on a sheet of paper, oh, I am honest, I have taken quality, I have made people to feel free. No, you cannot document that. First, ethical requirement. Have you complied with it? Yes, you document. Next, your client accept. Okay, ethical requirement includes your independence also. Then client acceptance and continuous, you have done. Team, you need not document. Then engagement performance. What comes in engagement performance? Your nature of the work, scope of the work, what conclusions you have done, what consultations have happened, how difference of opinion has come. That you need to document. That's it. Okay, have you appointed EQCR? So see, they are given in the form of a picture. That's why I call it as important. Now, what EQCR has to document? This is ditto same as SQC1. That's why I told you we'll discuss later. What procedure required by the firm's policies on EQCR, has it been performed? He has to document. Like if the firms expect you to appoint EQCR for so and so with so and so qualification, have they complied with? That is what EQCR has to document. EQCR has completed before the date of auditor's report. That is what he need to document, that my work has been completed before the date of auditor's report. If auditor's report is already signed, then he should not give sign off. He should say how you can do this. Yeah, obviously no. See, the review should happen before the food is served to the client. After the food is served, then you realize the salt is too much. What is fun in appointing this reviewer? The reviewer is not aware of any unresolved matters that would have caused him to believe that the significant judgments made and conclusions are not appropriate. Like, how to document that you are not aware? This is an explicit statement you have to make. Okay, you have to write something like this. I confirm based on the review of the audit documentation. See, something what you know you can document. What you are not aware, how you can document. This is how you are going to write, that there is no unresolved matters that I believe it would have been very significant. It would have changed my way of audit or the type of report. That is what you need to audit. So there are three elements the EQCR has to do it. Okay, one is your firm's policies and procedures have been complied, EQCR has been complied with, and he is not aware of any unresolved matters. Yes, students. So with this, we are done with the EQCR also, SA 220 also. Just we'll have one small water break, and then we'll write the notes. Okay, we'll start. Okay, take your mind map book. We'll start writing the content. At this time, we will see which is important. We'll try to mark it. So we have done the concept number 1. You can write here concept 2. SA 220. So when you talk about SA 220, first thing we have to talk about the objective. What is the objective? You can say, you can copy paste what we have written for the first one. What we had written, objective here. Okay, establish QC system. Okay, so here not establish, implement QC procedures at the engagement level by to comply with professional standard, law, regulation. Then appropriate, that is report here, audit report. Issue appropriate audit. There are two reports. How you will be able to achieve it? The how part comes in the form of your elements. 1, leadership. Second, ethics. Third, client acceptance. Okay, you can write in your own form, your own style, the way you can remember it. Fourth, team. 5, performance. 6, monitor. Okay, so there are 6 ways, steps. If you miss any one, your objective is lost. Okay, now we are going to talk about the responsibility. I hope you are done. 1, leadership responsibility. Now, what is the leadership responsibility there? Commercial consideration should not override your this thing or quality. Your business strategies should not be at the cost of the quality. You can write like that. Huh? Business strategy should not be at the cost of the quality. So that's what they mean to say. The CEO should take the responsibility. They should bring internal culture of. They should bring one culture. What is culture? The belief, the practices. So what is the leadership responsibility at the engagement level? Here, engagement partner shall emphasize one, importance of audit quality. How? How you can emphasize? Okay, so you can, I hope you have space. And when you are written in your own hand, no, you remember better. Importance of audit quality. How? Why? One, performing work as per law plus standard. STD. Okay, I have written standard. Performing work as per law or standard. You understand it. Complying firms QC system. Third, issue appropriate report. Fourth, if you want students see, I always give some analogies. No, you can write such analogies here so that you remember later. You can write, say, Bahu at Sasural, whatever. Then you remember like what she is supposed to do. What is her responsibility there? That you can write. You can relate. Okay. Raise concern without fear. These are all the four things he has to ensure or engagement partner has to ensure, so that your importance of the quality or quality will be always consistent. If you make mistakes, somebody is going to tell you. If you have issued inappropriate opinion, somebody will come to know. Second, quality is essential. Always they have to stress that quality is essential. Whatever you do should be qualitative. You see mother at home, how many times, like I can see my daughter, anything she does not proper, mother says, no, this is not correct, you should be doing like this. So always she stress the quality. Whatever you do, quality is essential and it is important. Okay, so this is the responsibility and this is important. They are not asked for the exam. Second, ethical requirements. Now, what is your ethical requirement? What is the responsibility of the engagement partner? What is the responsibility of engagement partner? Okay, for this, no, I will take this particular component for you to easy to remember, because you please take it from the study material here. Ah, here, this one, this particular thing. This is easy. Obtain info on threat to independence. Obtain information on threat to independence. I'll go back to the Q&A. Evaluate information on identified breaches. I can say evaluate or breach. First obtain the information, then you'll come to know whether the breach has happened or not. If breach has happened, you have to evaluate. Third, take appropriate actions. You take action. You put a safeguard. You change the team member. Whatever I told you, no, actions has to be taken, because you are in a system now. You are gone there. You see there is some problem now. So you have to take that action. And fourth, see, this is how you should, by making these notes, you remove that unwanted noise. Okay, there's so much noise. You cannot remember. You can remember this actually. So the fourth thing, report inability. See, if you have resolved it, well and good. Otherwise, if you could not take actions, if you take actions, problem is solved. Report inability to take action. That means if you cannot take actions, then you have to report it. That's it. Finish. Is this important? Yes, this is also important. Third, client acceptance. Now, what is the responsibility? Obtain info about integrity, competence, ethical requirement. Okay, I'll just give one example, students. What is this ethical requirement? Like in one of the yesterday's Q&A, we have seen that there was one senior audit manager. He left the job and he joined one firm, a company, and is in a senior position. Now this year you have been appointed as an auditor. Now engagement partner goes there and he's surprised to see that his old senior manager of the firm last year has become the director there in that company. Now, do you have any problems? Yes, there are some threats now. Ethical requirement. Now, how do you avoid these threats now? Okay, because see, now he is aware now. What is your audit procedures? Okay, how do you do it? How do you select sample? All these things he is aware. He must have done some of the work. Okay, now you may have a familiarity threat now. See, that is also one of the ethical requirement, because his engagement partner or the team members, their direct report is to him. So there can be a familiarity threat. So this is how you have to bring that information, client acceptance. Okay, and one more thing, significant matters. And later in audit planning, in next chapter, friends, we are going to see that there is one word called a preliminary engagement activities. Before you start your audit, you are supposed to do some preliminary engagement activity, and this is what you end up seeing, same 4 points there also. So for me, it is not important. Point number 4, engagement team. Responsibility is to see you have got appropriate competence. That's it. We will not write something more. You have got appropriate competence. This is the responsibility of the engagement partner. Point number 5. Okay, I'll write here because point number 5 is big. Point number 5, engagement performance. Now, what is the responsibility of an engagement partner when you talk about an engagement performance? The responsibility is to give direction. Obviously, he should direct your team members, right? So the first responsibility is give direction. Second, after you direct, supervise. Third, you do review. When it comes to review, what exactly you need to review? In the study material, though, you will not find the answer. So now I'll go back to my test your knowledge question. What is that you are supposed to review? In test your knowledge 10, they have given here, this point. Work done as per standard. Then what are the things you are supposed to review? Significant matters are raised for discussion. Is the only thing you are supposed to review? No. Appropriate consultation has happened. Then what are the things you are supposed to review? Sufficient appropriate evidence has been obtained. Okay, I will call it by the word SAAE. Be used to this word SAAE, sufficient appropriate audit evidence is obtained. Yeah, maybe you can pick one more point. Objectives of the okay, whatever procedures were there, its objectives have been tested. Yeah, this particular component is coming from your test your knowledge. Yeah, they are given 2 points. If you see the study material, the review is there, then they told sufficient appropriate evidence has to be obtained. Okay, appropriate consultations has to be done. 2 points they have given. So other 3 points we have added. Okay, then is there any more responsibility? Yes, we have got one more responsibility, that is EQCR. Now when you talk about EQCR, the responsibility goes like this. Okay, I can add before EQCR, you can add one more opinion here, difference of opinion. Okay, can add. There is one more responsibility, that if there is any difference of opinion, address that difference of opinion as per the firm's policy. We could have written it here. Excuse me. So if you have got a difference of opinion, then follow firm's policy to address it. That's it, simple. What is your responsibility if you have difference of opinion? Follow the firm's policy to address. And the last one is your EQCR. But when we talk about EQCR, it is not just the responsibility of the engagement partner we have to talk. See, if all these cases, no, like give direction, give supervision, do the review, difference of opinion, this was purely the responsibility of the engagement partner. But when we talk about EQCR, we have to break this into two components: engagement partner, EQC reviewer. So we have got the responsibility of two people. Okay, first question comes, what is the responsibility of the engagement partner? One, EQCR is appointed. He has to see that appointment is happened. Second, discuss significant matters, because you know what is a significant matter. You have to go and discuss. You don't expect that EQCR is aware about the significant matters. Obviously, no, students. Like, see, when you are writing test papers or when you are writing homework or whatever, if you have got a problem, you should tell me, so this is my problem. You have to make me work. You can't expect me to be aware about your problems. No, you have to escalate. Similarly, engagement partner has to go and tell EQCR, look, sir, these are all the significant matters we had in this audit. What is your opinion? Third, issue report after EQCR only. Have we seen these three issues? Okay, responsibilities. Yes. In one of the question we have seen that the responsibility of the engagement partner. 1 minute, students, 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Yeah, somewhere we had seen. No? Okay, now I'll not scroll much. Yeah, these are all the responsibility of the engagement partner, that EQCR is appointed, discuss the significant matters, issue the audit report after EQCR. That's it. Now, what is the responsibility of the EQC reviewer? So I'll take it like this. So primarily, we have got responsibilities divided into two for all entity. For listed entity. Okay, what is for all the entity? Discuss significant matters that we know. Second, review financial statement plus draft report. Third, review select documentation plus check the conclusions. Fourth, evaluate conclusions. Reached in auditor's report whether appropriate report is appropriate. Evaluate conclusions with the appropriateness of the report. Yeah, if you can write, you can explain, that is also fine. Now, what is your for listed entity? One means these four things has to be done, plus independence evaluation. That means have the team done that independent assessment, consultation has happened for contentious matters, documentation reflect work performed. So you go more deeper into the documentation part here. Okay, have you documented this? Have you documented that? If you have done that, okay, because people will say, but see here, you don't go more deeper from the documentation. You select the documentation and ask the uh, point there. Okay, have you done this? What is your assessment? Why you have done that? You know, that's it. Here, my objective is to look into your conclusions. Here, my objective: have you done the documentation for this work? Because tomorrow we may have to prove for listed entity. That's it. The last one, the point number 6, monitoring. When you talk about monitoring, you have to monitor. What is the responsibility? Whether, okay, what is the responsibility of the engagement partner? Quality control system is relevant, same points, relevant, adequate, operating. These are the 3 points. And then identify the deficiency. See, one more concept here, because these are with these 6, no, you have done with your objective. Now there is one more element called a documentation, which is very important. I hope students you are rewriting. You also have the books with you, contents with you. You can just copy from that also. I will share it now if anybody has missed. Documentation, and next time, no, we will write then and there itself, then finishing the chapter and writing. Even today morning also I thought, then what happened, no, when I start explaining, I go into that flow only. Actually, I should have done this then and there itself. Documentation will have 2 types. One, engagement partner, EQCR. I can write ethical issues, what you have identified. Conclusion on independence. Client acceptance issue. nature and scope of consultation. That's it. Only 4 things you need to do. You document more, your wish. But minimum 4 things has to be documented. What EQCR has to document? Firm's policy on EQCR is complied. EQCR complete before audit. No, not aware of unresolved matters. Yeah, these are all the 3 things we can talk. We can say that these are all the four aspects engagement partner has to document, and these are all the 3 things EQCR has to document. With this, we are done. Yeah, difference and all we need not write. Okay, I think we are done with our notes also. Yes. So before we conclude, just we will go back to the study material and we'll see something. What's the difference between SQC1 and SA220? One, we also know now. It applies to the entire firm. It is for an audit engagement only. SQC applicable to the all 4 types of activity, but it is only for audit. If CEO is responsible, engagement partner is responsible. Quality control system for a firm as a whole, for same thing they have told, and it provides the firm with the reasonable assurance that a firm and its personnel comply with the regulatory requirement objective they have told, and it is premised based on the firm is having SQC, that is it's sine qua non for applicability. That means if 220 has to apply, SQC1 has to come. It is within the overall context of the firm's procedures. Okay, so this is how you can these are all the distinctions between your SQC1 and this SQC1 and SA220. So it is the overall context of a firm's quality control system implement. Yeah, we discussed already. That means if you don't have SQC1, you cannot expect SA220 to be there. Okay, students. So thank you. So only one last aspect is left today. So then we can, yeah, I think just if we can, in 5-10 minutes, we can finish this also. Why to leave this? Okay, it's the we need not make a notes also. Okay, because previously this was part of your chapter, but now they have removed it from the your syllabus only, and there is no RTP MTP question. There is no question also, and you can easily write this. Now there is a third concept related to the mechanism for review of quality control. Like, see, institute told every audit firm to have SQC, everyone to told have SA220 and all. But what is the guarantee that they have done it? That's why they have got a concept called peer review. I think you must be aware. Now, what is peer review? It's a board constituted by the Council of ICI. Its objective is to ensure technical, professional, ethical standards are complied with, proper systems are put in place, amply demonstrate the quality control services, etc. Like I can say something like this. Like, again, I'll give the same analogy. The parent have made the daughter marry someone, and that daughter is in somebody's house. Like, what the parents are expecting, what they have learned qualities, this daughter who is an engagement partner should have demonstrated there in the in-laws house. Now, how do they know the confidence? What confidence they have? Is she following all the instructions what we have done? What sanskar what we have given? What they can do, they can send the chacha one day and say, go and stay there, see what is happening. Now the chacha or mama will come and stay one day here, and they observe, okay, what she is doing, okay, she is following the instruction, and they come back and report to ICA. Peer review is something like this. It is one of the board, and what they say, all the technical standards have been complied, you have put proper systems in place, Now, peer review means examination of review of the systems and procedure. See here, the objective of a peer reviewer is not to find out the fault here. Like, okay, today in the what's that called? In the food you prepared, you have put extra salt. No, no, no. That's not the objective of peer review. Here, peer review is going to give opinion on overall system, okay, structure. Have you done? Do you have a good SQC? Have you do you give importance to your quality control procedure? You invest time, you demonstrate quality and all. This is what they say. Because one of the instances of mistakes can happen, even though somebody is cautious. So they focus on the systems and procedure for ensuring quality of audit services. Once a practice unit is subjected to peer review, what is a practice unit? Your firm, audit firm. The records pertaining to peer review are subject to the examination by the peer reviewer. Previously, in the old syllabus, there was in the procedure and all. Who can be a peer reviewer? How they select the object? Here, they didn't give you, spoke all those things. They told in a very simple language that okay, peer review is done to verify the systems and controls. Once the practice unit is subjected to peer review, peer reviewers are going to go there. They will check the records, examination, etc. On completion, they will give one peer review certificate. Okay, and everybody expect an unqualified one. In case of the qualified report is given, okay, informed to the peer review, the same cannot be issued along with the, in case qualified report, it is informed to the practice unit that the same cannot be issued. Therefore, inform about the due date for conducting follow-on. That means if I am going to issue one qualified opinion, we will not issue qualified opinion. Instead of issuing qualified opinion that this system is not proper, that system is not proper, we will tell the practicing unit, look, these are all your deficiencies, you please correct me, call me again. I'll come again and check. I want to give you clean report because today having a peer review certificate is considered as a pride. You go to the companies and show, look, I'm peer review certified. Please give me audit. So if you have got a qualified opinion, no, then who will give you audit? So this is all about your peer review. That's it. This is what you need to know. Now, quality review board is set up by the central government. The peer review is by our mother only, ICA. Okay, here the members are nominated by the central government and the council of ICA. Now, what is the function of quality review board? To make recommendations related to the quality of services provided by the members, to review the quality of services provided by the members of the institute, to guide the members to improve the quality. So, government doesn't trust. In fact, who is where central? How your organization structure? This is me and you. We will fall under ICI. ICI will fall under Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Ministry of Corporate Affairs will fall under the central government. And who is central government? Again, me only. Again, we only. See, we only have built one system there. So now, MCA do not trust. Now, ICI don't trust whether you have done your work or not. That's why they send another person to verify. MCA do not trust ICI whether you are monitoring your member properly or not. So they only will select one person and send to you. Followed, no? And this concept is called a quality review. This concept is called a quality review. This concept is called a peer review. Peer means peer, colleague. So here focus is on the work, what you have done, to make recommendation for the quality of the services. So statutory auditors in respect of companies are identified for quality review based on the risk-based approach. That means if they see that LIC auditors, okay, LIC is a very risky organization, so they can get the quality review of the auditors of LIC. Why? Because government want assurance, because government investment is there. So quality review is more like an internal auditor of the government. The reviews carried out by the technical reviewers, empaneled by the quality review board from across the country. And then comes the third called the NFRA. See, one more thing, if I have to bring central government has bring this NFRA, National Financial Reporting Authority. See, similar thing, what happened no? In USA, Enron fraud happened. Till that, AICPA was the head of members. First time the government of USA lost trust on AICPA and they brought public PCAOB, Public Committee on Accounting Board or something. Now they will monitor the members' work. Now in India, ICA was monitoring all the disciplinary proceedings against our members. 2018, Nirav Modi fraud happened. Then the government lost the trust and they brought NFR. They said, now we will take care of the members who are not going to do audit properly. So NFR has been constituted as per section 132 of the Companies Act 2013, but it was never implemented because we were pushing. They said, please trust us, we'll follow. But the Nirav Modi fraud made it to happen. So what is the duty of an NFRA? Monitor and enforce compliance with the accounting standards and auditing standards. They are focused only on the work now. Oversee the quality of the service. That means if any auditor, and this is the supreme authority, if anybody is subjected to NFRA, quality review is not going to applicable because both are falling under the central government only. So NFRA has got the power to monitor, enforce the compliance, undertake the investigation on certain class of companies. It shall include listed companies, insurance companies, banking companies. So they can decide, okay, whichever they find risky, they can verify the audit. Therefore, overseeing the quality of audit service of the listed company falls under the purview of NFRA. Listed entities all will fall under the NFRA review. Quality review board can review quality only in respect of those other than specified by the NFRA rules. That means if somebody is falling under, like LIC will fall under NFRA bucket, then quality review will not touch them. Quality review will see somebody else other than what NFRA has seen. So these are all the three mechanisms which the government of India or IC has established to see to it that members do their work properly. One, peer review. Second, quality review. Third, NFRA. With this, students, we are done with this particular chapter. Thank you.